Welcome. This is a 7-minute summary of the 1-hour, 8-minute interview between Dr. Phil and President Trump. President Trump on key issues and leadership. President Trump dives into the dynamics of his trial, urging President Biden to stop pursuing him and calling out open borders, unfair jury charges, and political bias. Dr. Phil and Trump discuss the trial setting and the fight against prosecutorial misconduct. Trump emphasizes that Biden should stop pursuing him, highlighting the numerous attempts to remove him from office since 2015. He attributes the ongoing attacks to Trump derangement syndrome and critiques the open borders policy. Reflecting on his impeachments and legal cases, Trump shares his frustrations about gag orders that prevent him from discussing certain aspects. He questions the political bias of juries and wonders why Biden isn't stepping in. Trump believes the White House and DOJ are weaponizing the law to influence elections, warning of trouble if things don't change. Shifting gears, Trump talks about the legal violations in his case, the pressure on witnesses, and his decision not to testify. He mentions threats and intimidation faced by individuals to testify against him, which he says impacts his family and poses a danger of World War III. He also touches on potential deals to drop out of the race, corruption in legal cases, and his relationships with Oprah and Mar-a-Lago. Trump decided not to testify, claiming the trial was unfair and corrupt. He discusses the challenges in proving his competence to stand trial and the bias he sees in the jury. Trump also describes conflicts with judges and tough questioning he receives. Trump takes a moment to highlight his administration's successes, challenges from the radical left, and positive economic and military achievements. Dr. Phil asks why Trump subjects himself to the challenges of being president, and Trump reflects on his administration's success and the radical left's challenges. He believes having more time on his hands could have negatively impacted his presidency. Trump details the economic and military achievements during his administration and questions why he isn't running unopposed based on these accomplishments. He notes the rise in gas prices, interest rates, and the improved quality of life for people. Trump believes Democrats are energized against him out of habit, but hopes the Black community will recognize his positive impact and support him. Talking about his administration's success, Trump discusses the impact of tax cuts and the influence of fake news on public perception. He shares Prime Minister Netanyahu's praise for the Abraham Accords and his belief that Iran would have signed if not financially broke. Trump critiques the open borders policy, linking it to increased crime and gang influx. He criticizes Biden as mentally deficient and incapable of dealing with tough world leaders, fearing that the current negotiators' incompetence could lead to World War III. He also mentions early voting in Pennsylvania, which he believes poses risks. Trump warns of threats from young fascists and communists and the potential dangers from the southern border. He discusses potential terrorists entering the U.S. through the southern border and other countries sending criminals. Trump also talks about the Chinese government buying up farmland and surrounding strategic military bases. He expresses anger over the renaming of military bases and the importance of investment in the country. Trump critiques applying modern standards to historical conduct, which he sees as unfair. He discusses inherited problems with Russia, dealing with Putin, the war in Ukraine, and NATO contributions. Trump also talks about the financial impacts of war and energy prices and his actions to prevent terrorist attacks during his presidency. Trump shares his views on border security, criticizing Biden's handling of the border, and reiterates his belief that he won the election. He raises concerns about military-aged men forming potential threats within the country and criticizes the current administration's incompetence. Trump emphasizes the success of his policies on borders and military, and condemns Biden's border handling, citing worsened conditions and trafficking issues. He stresses the importance of putting capable individuals in charge and shares his focus on building a company in New York. Trump discusses his decision to run for president, his belief that he won the election, and his commitment to doing what he believes is right. He emphasizes the need for strong borders and the deportation of criminals while discussing how he deals with stress and criticism. Trump discusses the support he receives from the media and public and the personal truth and vulnerability he faces. He stresses the need for confidence and expresses frustration with feeling silenced during a trial. Trump talks about the unfair treatment of his family, his decision to forego his salary, and the scrutiny he faces from the media. He denounces the Russia hoax and false accusations against his son. Trump highlights the negative impact of media scrutiny on his son Barron and expresses frustration with false stories. He also discusses how negative media affects his wife and himself. In an exclusive interview with Dr. Phil, Trump discusses his family's support, international relations, and the Afghanistan withdrawal. He critiques the loss of military equipment and its global impact. Dr. Phil urges Trump to consider a more forgiving and unifying approach in his second term. Trump emphasizes the need to bring the country together through success, addressing retribution and revenge. Dr. Phil and Trump discuss the importance of forgiveness and moving past cultural wars for the country's survival. Trump shares his poll numbers, the support he's received, and his plans for the upcoming election, expressing doubt about Biden's ability to handle a similar interview. If you found this summary helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. To watch the original 1-hour, 8-minute interview between Dr. Phil and President Trump, click on the link in the description.